Hello, this is John Ramsey, and this is My Big Comeback. I have a very special guest with us today, Debra Peel. And you may know her from Crime Stoppers, but as you're going to hear in a few minutes, she does a lot of things. Debra, it's good to have you today. We've known each other a long, long time.
A long time.
And you still doing Crime Stoppers and everything. You wear a lot of hats. Tell me something about what you got going on.
I do. I've been with Crime Stoppers for a very long time. I've been involved with Crime Stoppers since about 1984.
Wow.
I've been spokesperson since about 1990.
1990.
Yeah, so that's a long time.
Yeah.
I've been doing Crime Stoppers. And during that process, I've also worked at the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
I'm also an investigator.
You were a deputy at one time.
Yeah, believe it or not. Here I was on patrol. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
When I was on patrol, we didn't even have cell phones.
Didn't have cell phones, just the old CB radio.
A CB radio, and then if you needed to stop and call the station, you had to get out a payphone.
Yeah.
So that goes a long way back. But I worked at the sheriff's office, and then I opened up an investigative agency. And
Private investigator.
Still have the agency. And then about 15 years ago, I went to work as 14th Circuit investigator for the Florida Bar.
You work for the Florida Bar. That's great. And you're still doing that now.
I'm still doing that.
Well, how did all of that get started with your life and community service and communications? How did you get introduced to Crime Stoppers? Where did that start?
Well, I got introduced to Crime Stoppers prior to moving to Panama City. I was working on a campaign with one of the legendary sheriffs, Lamar Bird Dog Haddon, out of Houston County, Alabama. He was legendary with ATF and everybody. He could find marijuana field where nobody could. I was working with him, and my family comes from a long field of law enforcement.
Yeah.
So I kind of always knew from an early age that I wanted to be in law enforcement. I had an uncle that was a special agent with the FBI.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and he was always like, somebody I really looked up to.
Yeah.
And he was involved with a lot of high-profile cases.
Yeah.
So I always kind of thought I wanted to be that. And then when I worked on the campaign a little bit, I discovered I really wanted to be into it. So moved to Panama City. And I met some people here at the sheriff's office, and I went to work for the Bay County Sheriff's Office in 1983.
Wow.
Yeah,
so you've seen a lot of sheriffs.
I have.
A lot of sheriffs.
I have.
We had the sheriff on our podcast. We were talking about the history of all of them, and I was trying to think of who's been there the longest in sheriff. And it turns out it was Doc Daffin who had the longest term. But that's way back. That's way back a long time ago.
I'm telling my age, but yes, I've been through.
You don't remember Doc Daffin?
Okay.
No. There's no way.
There's I've worked with a lot of sheriffs.
Yeah.
And right now it's the best it's ever been.
Really?
I'm just telling you.
It's fantastic.
I'm working with 4 local sheriffs now.
Because Crime Stoppers is regional.
Yes. Well, we extended our Panhandle Crime Stoppers to 4 different counties now.
Which ones?
Gulf County, working with Sheriff Mike Harrison. Let's see, Washington County, Sheriff Kevin Cruz. Holmes County, Sheriff John Tate. And, of course, Bay County, Tommy Ford.
Wow. That's a lot of ground to cover.
It is.
So is all the phone calls central to one place for all the counties? Or
we have
separate numbers?
We have one tips line, and then whatever agency the tip is concerning, that's where it goes. That's
great.
But these sheriffs are awesome. I mean, they're the best.
You have any idea about how many calls Crime Stopper gets? I mean, is there a number? Because, that's a lot of calls to field and kind of call through.
At the national line, I have no clue. I know we get on an average around 85 to 100 tips a month.
That's a lot of work. And someone's vetting those, I guess?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Each county, they get vetted and everything we go. And I'm so proud of our program because our program, I would say 90% of the people that call our program, nobody requests a reward.
Really?
They just want to do their part to make the community safe.
How is Crime Stoppers funded?
Well, believe it or not, the criminals pay for the program. Yeah, every time you're
Sounds like
convicted
a
of a
good
crime.
plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody says, "Oh my gosh, how do you pay for all these billboards?" Well, it's because the criminals pay for them. When they're convicted, they have to make a court cost. It goes to the Attorney General's office, where they maintain a Crime Stopper trust fund.
Really?
Yeah. So we go and we have a grant, and that's how we pay for everything. That's how the program runs.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, it's really neat.
So, about how many volunteers are involved in Crime Stoppers in our area?
I have, let's see, I think we have about 14 board members on the Panhandle Crime Stoppers.
Wow.
That covers all 4 counties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot of, I think some people don't understand it's a nonprofit organization.
Nonprofit organization.
And so it's not funded by tax dollars. It's funded by things like you said, grants and different stuff. And
I have never been paid 1 penny for any work I've
I
ever
know
done.
that. And I think most people don't know
They
that.
don't know. They think I work for the sheriff's office.
That Debra Peel is not paid by Crime Stoppers. So you've done all these years. Did we say 30 something, or what was
I think
we
it
at?
may be a little bit more.
A little bit
than
more
30 years.
than a little bit more than 30 years,
Yeah.
and you've done that all volunteer.
All volunteer.
I think that would shock most people, because that they see the billboards, Crime Stoppers, they see you on television, Crime Stoppers. That's just what they see. That's not all the behind the scene work
They have no
that
idea.
you're doing trying to solve cases. And we're going to talk about a few of them in just a little bit, but there's a lot of work goes into it, and you're volunteering all that time and have for over 30 years. It's a lot, Debra. That's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
That's a
It's
lot.
a lot more than. It's a lot more than, like you said, people realize. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and I'm very fortunate that we have a board of directors
Yeah.
that works so well together.
Yeah, you're not doing it yourself. We know that.
These board members are excellent. I know of some boards that, there's a lot of, problems and issues, but our board works so well together. I mean, I don't know many boards that you will have board members that's been on there over 25 years.
Wow.
And they get involved.
They're dedicated to it.
They're dedicated because it is the one organization that totally affects each and everybody.
Yeah.
It affects you as a person. It affects your family, and it affects your business.
Yeah.
It affects everything. Crime affects every element of your life.
Yeah. So tell me, I know you do Crime Stoppers, and also you work for the Florida Bar. What's a typical day look like for Debra Peel? What? I mean, you're probably going 14 different directions.
Well, I usually get up around 5:30 every morning, and then the day starts. The phone starts ringing, and if it's anything to do with Crime Stoppers, I will, usually get a call. It'll be from one of the sheriffs, and they'll be at a crime scene. They'll say, "Debra, we need to get some information out as soon as possible to the public because this just happened." And so what we do is immediately I take that information and I contact, we get it on social media, we get it to the press release to the media. We also put it up on the billboards, and we get the ball rolling in that. And then we'll get the calls coming in and hopefully get something solved for them. So
And these days, digital billboards, so you can put it on that day
Put it on
if
right
you want
then.
to. That's a help.
that's the Crime Stopper part. And then I start getting calls, and what I do as an investigator for the Florida Bar is I work for the Florida Bar is the regulatory arm of the Supreme Court. So when someone files a complaint against an attorney, it has to be investigated. So I am the investigator that investigates the attorney.
You're the investigator that investigates attorneys.
That is not an easy thing to do.
No, that's not an easy thing to do. Make some friends and enemies at the same time, don't you?
Well, they do not like to see me walk in their door, and I mean, I'm the nicest person there is, but they do not like to see me walk in
So
the door.
all that's done on a state level, but when there's so is that just for our area, like this
for the
district?
14th Circuit, that's what I am, yes.
So there's one of you for every district
I think there's a total of 4 investigators in the state of Florida.
in the whole state of Florida. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of ground to cover.
It is.
Yeah.
We
So
help out with other areas.
so when someone makes a complaint against an attorney, it ultimately comes to you
Yes.
to see if it's valid or if there's anything that needs to be looked into deeper.
That's correct.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes attorneys break the law too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it happens, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
happens.
Unfortunately.
Well, and the hard thing is, I know both of those things, Crime Stoppers and what you're doing for the the Florida Bar, that can change at any moment. I mean, as far as like your day probably gets hijacked by the crisis of the moment a lot.
Absolutely.
So what do? You just kind of pick what the biggest fire is, and that's what you have to focus on that day, or what?
I do a lot of multitasking.
A lot of
A lot
multitasking.
I will be taking care of one thing and working on another.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I have to.
Yeah.
Because most of the things I take care of are immediate. They have
Yeah.
to be done immediately. And so that's what I do. And it just, the day goes by very fast.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
Kind of snowballs, and
Yeah.
you get things going, and it starts getting real busy.
It does.
So how has technology changed with Crime Stoppers, and how it connects to the community?
Used to, believe it or not, when we had the sheriff would call and say, look, we have this crime, we would have to schedule a TV crew to come out to the location of the crime. They would film the reenactment, then they would go back and edit it. Then we'd have to do it for whatever media, because the media outlets did not like to share the same footage. and then sometimes the crime would be solved before we could even get it on the
Isn't that
air.
something?
So now it's just immediately. You have a cell phone.
Y'all do like Facebook Live, or
you do everything. You just it happens just like that.
Yeah.
And so we can get a photograph out to the public. We have a billboard that, unbelievably or not, many years ago, I was contacted by this individual, and he said, Deborah, how would you like to have a billboard? And I said, well, not a billboard, property. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I would like to make a donation to Crime Stoppers. I'd like to donate this property to Crime Stoppers. And I'm thinking, okay. And I'm thinking, where's this going to be? Turns out it's on one of the most prime intersections in Bay County.
Wow.
At East Avenue and 231.
Yeah, a lot of traffic.
So I made contact with a billboard company to put a billboard up there. So we have advertising on that billboard for life.
Yeah.
So,
That's fantastic.
immediately we can get information up on that billboard.
And the digital age of doing that can put it where you can, almost like a television screen, put it up on there.
Absolutely.
If there's a silver alert, or if there's
right.
a amber alert, or
Amber
anything
alert.
like that, it's a big help with that, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Do y'all have Crime Stoppers have a Facebook or a Instagram or anything like that?
We have Facebook.
They've got all that. Good.
And it's hard for us to do. It was kind of hard for us to get started in social media, only because you can provide us information, but we can't share information.
Yeah.
It's like we can't comment.
Yeah.
We can't make comments. You can give us something, but we can't take make comments and stuff.
Because you don't know what's accurate yet till you.
Well, we don't know we don't know the information somebody's going to provide us.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and we don't want, you have to make sure that the individuals or names that's given is all private and stuff like that. So
a lot of stuff, a lot of hurdles to cross with all that information, huh?
there is, but I keep saying we're so fortunate. Our program is so fortunate that the tips we get in are so precise. They will say there is a yellow car in the driveway.
Yeah.
There's a black dog sitting on the porch. You go in the house and you go to the second bedroom. You look under the bed. There's a shoebox, and this is
my
where the
goodness.
drugs are.
So tells you the details. Oh, yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
They're so precise.
Yeah.
So our law enforcement take our tips very serious.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We're going to talk about some cold cases. We're going to take a moment, take a break. We'll be right back with Debra Peel.
Are you ready to connect your organization with an audience that is eager for inspiration? The My Big Comeback podcast, hosted by John R. Ramsey, shares powerful stories of resilience and redemption, featuring guests who have turned life setbacks into major comebacks. New episodes drop the 1st and 15th of every month. For those interested in being a part of this community, sponsorship opportunities are now available. To learn more, contact Meredith Cobb at meredithcobbhwc@gmail.com. Let's make a big comeback together.
Hello, this is John Ramsey. I'm back here with Debra Peel. We're talking about Crime Stoppers. We're talking about what she does with the Florida Bar and some of the investigative stuff she does. But Debra, I want to talk to you just a moment about some cold cases. And if I had, in all the thousands of cases that you've worked on, and Crime Stoppers has been a part of, what's the case that you carry the most that's probably keep you up at night a little bit and bothers you a little bit? Tell me about it.
Well, it's Elizabeth Prescott.
Yeah.
Elizabeth went missing in 2004. There was an apartment complex that was across the street from Walmart on Tyndall Parkway. It's gone. The apartment complex is no longer there. It's about like where Applebee's is now on Tyndall Parkway. But she went missing in 2004. Her husband, she'd only been married for about a month, and her husband left for work around 5:30 in the morning. When he got home that afternoon, she was not there. Her purse was still there, her money, everything was still there. None of her belongings were taken. She just was not there. And she's not been seen since. Elizabeth would be 40 years old today.
Wow.
So, a very, very sad case. Her family has just been living with this every day.
That's a tough thing to live with.
It is. I spoke to her mother just about a month ago, and
Are they still in the area?
yeah, and she mentioned that she said, Deborah, I'm going to turn 77 this year. She said, my prayer is that we find my daughter.
Yeah, know what happened.
Yeah.
Know something. That's what. It'd be a hard thing big question mark to carry your life.
Well, it's in this case, I have such a strong suspicion of what happened in this case. I just can't prove it.
Yeah.
But somebody out
there knows what happened.
Somebody out there can prove this.
Yeah.
And so we still put out flyers.
Yeah.
Every year, and around the anniversary time, and try to hoping that somebody will see it and remember something.
Is it still an open case though? Still,
Absolutely.
It says open case and
Open case.
no, never been solved, never been resolved.
But we still get tips on it.
You still get tips
We
on
got
it.
a tip last month on it.
Really?
So my job is to keep that case out in the public.
Well, give me the tip number again. If someone knew something about Elizabeth Prescott, they would call
785 tips.
785 tips.
Or they could do star tips.
Star tips. Either one of those will connect
Either
to
one of
Crime
those.
Stopper. They don't have to give their name.
Never give your
Tell me
name.
how that works.
Oh,
because,
that's one thing everybody's so always
Yeah,
interested in.
that's
How does that work?
Yeah, how's that
Well, how Crime Stoppers works is that when someone calls the tips line, first thing they're told is, please do not give your name. You are caller number 2345.
give a number.
Give a number. Okay, and that's how we communicate with that person. So they will give us all the information, and we'll say, okay, you can check back with us in a week, and we can let you know what the status is of your tip. They'll call the tips number back again, and they'll say, I'm caller number 2345. Has there been an arrest made on my case? And we'll say, yes, there has, and that you're eligible for a reward. You're eligible for a reward of $1,000. And this is how you go pick your reward up. And people say, well, how can you remain anonymous and pick up a cash reward? Well, it's because they'll go to a certain financial institution where there are no cameras, and they go to the furthest drive-through, and you put a piece of paper through the drive-through that says 2345.
Yeah, and they know.
And that when that goes in, there's an envelope sitting there that says 2345. And that $1,000 cash is in there, and they take it.
Wow. Completely anonymous.
We've been doing that for 40 years.
40 years.
And over 40 years, and we have never had a tipster identified.
Wow.
Isn't
That's
that
fantastic.
amazing?
That is amazing.
It's
That is
priceless.
amazing.
It's priceless.
When I used to do the guts program in the schools, we did a thing on nonviolence in schools, and it was during the plague of all those shootings, the end of 1999, 2001. We had a series of years where it's just one school shooting after another, and the biggest thing that I came across interviewing the families and the police officers in the school and stuff is usually other kids in the school knew something was about to happen, but there wasn't a good way for them to tell it. And that's if you're gonna say something like that, you got to feel safe.
Yeah.
You got to feel safe. So your track record speaks volumes about how safe it is to call on the tips line and report something on Crime Stoppers,
Correct.
because that's what police officers everywhere, they need information.
They do.
They need information. Somebody knows what happened to Elizabeth.
Absolutely.
Somebody knows. They've heard the stories. They've talked to people. They're related to people. They saw things. They heard things. Somebody knows what happened to her.
Yes, they do.
And they need to step forward and help this family have some closure closure
Yeah.
and it just be resolved, because I could not imagine a family having to carry that all those years.
It's very, very
not
sad.
know what happened to their loved one.
It's very sad. And you think, gosh, she's been missing. She would be 40 years old now. A life's gone. It's just gone.
Yeah.
And it's very sad, but, that's just one of many cases.
Tell me another one.
Well, let's see. About 5 years ago, we had a young lady, a beautiful young lady. She was 21 years old. Happened right over in Springfield on Bob Little Road. She was putting her child in the car seat. Someone came up behind her and shot her multiple times.
Oh, my goodness.
Killed her dead right there. The baby was left alone. Her purse, everything was left in the car. No one saw anything. We have 0 tips in on this thing.
My goodness.
What
time of day was it?
It was during the day, in the afternoon. And so, that's been going on for I think it was 2020 that occurred.
Wow, just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And no credible tips, nothing
Nothing
to go on.
Her name is Tanaya Baker.
Tanaya Baker.
And
she was killed right off on Bob Little Road.
On Bob Little Road,
About
yes.
5 years ago. Somebody knows something about it. Somebody should know something about it.
They should. And, a lot of, there's been a lot of guessing about that case. And, maybe, they misidentified, got someone mixed up, and they thought it was somebody else. But the fact that they did it with a child there.
Yeah.
It's just very, very. So that child's growing up without a mother.
That's sad. Very sad.
It is very sad.
Very sad. So, like, when these things go on, I guess it stay open forever. Do these cold cases ever go away, or are they ever?
Only when they're solved.
Only when they're
we
solved.
Never stop working them.
Is there like a huge file of cold cases? There's a lot, huh? So, how does that work beyond Crime Stoppers? Does a sheriff's office have someone that just works cold cases, or it's a lot of resources?
Yeah, a lot of retired investigators volunteer their time.
Yeah,
Sheriff Frank McKeithen.
Yeah,
he's on
cold cases.
Yes, he's worked on cold cases for many, many years.
Yeah,
and I've worked closely with him on several cases, and it's just something that, as bad as it sounds, working these cases, you don't forget about them.
No.
They're always you're always thinking about them. It's very hard to put it aside when you go home.
Yeah.
How do you put that aside when you go home?
Yeah. It is hard. I'm sure. Anytime I talk with law enforcement, there's always a part of it that you carry around with you, and it does. For lack of a better way to put it, it interrupts your life. It invades your life, because it's not like a light switch. You can just shut that off. You've seen those things. You've heard those things. You can't just shut them off at the end of the day and say, "Oh, I'm going to go home. I won't think about this anymore." You're still thinking about it.
But there's a lot of. It's hard to unsee things that you've seen.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to let them go, and you just want to. You feel like you're just so close. You just one thing would happen and it would solve everything. And we do have, like I said, a lot of cold cases, but we have Crime Stoppers has solved about 4 or 5 murder cases.
Yeah.
And
are you able to tell me about one of them? That maybe?
Well, the very first one we ever solved, gosh, back in 82, 81, the Toombs case. I don't know if anybody remembers that far back. They were the ladies that worked at a consignment store.
I do remember that.
They were taken in a van, and they were taken
Kidnapped from the store.
Taken up on Highway 390, taken to the clay pits, and they were killed. That's the first one we ever saw.
How long did that go before it was solved?
Oh gosh, I can't remember, John. It's been so long ago. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But that was one of our first ones.
But basically, someone called in a tip that knew who did it, or knew what happened.
Knew where they were and everything.
Yeah. Well, and people's family, they know, they know where their loved one was. They know what their loved one was doing. They know when their behavior drastically changes. I know when they were looking for, with the tragedy with Charlie Kirk and stuff, when they were looking for his assassin, this one thing they said is somebody knows who this is. It's not nobody in the world knows who that person is. You know when you see your loved one on TV and you know the person they're looking for, and that's all they needed was someone to say, hey, I know who this is, and then it all unfolds right there.
Yeah, and just like you mentioned a while ago with the schools, students know.
They know.
They hear something, and it's very good that they do come forward. A lot of students do come forward. We've had a lot of that happen here.
Yeah.
As much as the many cold cases that we do have such success rates on a lot of things. Recently, let's see, just the latter part or the first part of this year, we had a young lady, 17-year-old juvenile, that went missing from Pier Park. She never came home. And so the Beach PD was working that case, and after a couple of weeks or so, maybe a month, they contacted us and wanted to know if we could help them with that case. And, we offered to help and everything, so I got the information together, and I put her photograph up on the billboard. And it was the billboard going on 231, so people leaving the beach would be going to a lot of traveling of that. And so, anyway, like I said, she was a 17-year-old female, and we got a tip in that someone had seen the billboard on 231, and that the young lady was being held in out of state.
Oh my goodness!
In Georgia, and she was being groomed to marry this individual, and the gentleman lived here in Bay County.
My goodness!
And so we were able to track all of that down. The sheriff's office got in touch with the sheriff's office in that county, and the Panama City Beach PD investigators went to Georgia, and they went to that address. They found the young lady and brought her home.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah,
that's impressive. But it takes people getting involved.
It takes people getting involved, and we have unfortunately there's so much human trafficking going on.
Yeah, is that bad in our area?
It's bad everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's bad everywhere, and the human trafficking, that is the one thing that just I get too emotional about. But that's the one thing that is it's just horrible. I can't think about these children, these young boys, these young girls, and they're taken, they're scared to death, and they don't have any food. They're tortured. They're beat. I mean, they're held without their, they
That's
just
so
don't know.
scary. That's a scary thing.
Their lifespan is usually around 15 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
They start grooming children around the age of 7 or 8.
That's terrible.
It's heartbreaking.
It's terrible, and it's scary to think of it in our area because we just don't want to think of it. We don't want to think of it. We don't want to think that it could happen here. But anywhere there's people, there's crime, and anywhere there's crime, it can happen anywhere. It's just the way it is.
Any tourist area.
And does it's a tourist area bringing a lot of people that are not usually here that I think maybe don't get noticed as much because nobody knows them.
That's right.
So they don't stick
They
out.
don't. They don't stick out.
They don't stick out.
There's so many different. How many car tags? How many states do you see on the beach?
Yeah.
So it's those things, and people ask me, Deborah, what keeps you motivated? Why do you do what you do? Well, that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't stand to think, have a difficult time sometimes sitting and having dinner thinking, are these kids being fed?
Yeah, that's a terrible thing. Well, anyway, people can step up and, when you see unusual things, unusual things. You see people in a house that never come out. You see people that are, I think of the case in Cleveland where the guy held the 3 girls for I think it was over 20 years. And, they said the neighbors said they had seen people go in, but only seen him come out. But this guy had barbecue with his neighbors and all this, but would never let anyone in his house. And until finally one of the young ladies broke out herself. And that is where she was able to tell somebody, hey, I'm not the only one in there. There's 3 people locked in there. That this crazy person had taken these girls and locked them in there, and that's terribly tragic. But, everybody's got neighbors, so you pay attention, when you don't see people.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. What's happening?
When you're in a grocery store and you see these younger children where someone that's not acting, they're acting like they're afraid or they're being held close to
like
them.
Elizabeth Smart, remember she was at a grocery store where she finally had the courage to say, "Hey, this is not my person."
Yeah, so it's It's tough. It's a tough thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break and I'm going to come back and talk to you about some other stuff. We'll be right back.
Heroes Child is a nonprofit organization that is on a mission to help community heroes with the everyday cost of childcare. We know that heroes like our military personnel, first responders, and foster families need care for their children. Heroes Child awards these families scholarships that go to help pay their childcare tuition. Use the QR code on the screen to donate now or visit heroeschild.org today.
Hello, it's John Ramsey. I'm here with Debra Peel. We've been talking about cold cases and Crime Stoppers, but let me talk to you personally a little bit. Debra, what's the biggest challenge that you faced in life? What has it been?
Okay, well, it's been something that's affected me personally and something that's affected me professionally. During the COVID, I developed COVID. I had an extremely bad case of COVID. I developed 2 autoimmune diseases and an incurable lung disease from COVID.
Oh, my goodness.
So I've been under treatment at UAB and Mayo Clinic for this. I'm on a lot of different things. And during that process, you're on a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
And the drugs that save your life also take a terrible toll on your life.
Other effects, yeah.
Side effects are horrendous.
Yeah.
So, and it's very hard to be out in front of the public.
Yeah.
And you have all these side effects. You have these skin issues. You have hair loss. You have weight gain. And you still have to do your job.
Yeah.
And people, not everybody likes what I do.
Well, and like I say, you solve crimes, which is, it upsets people.
It upsets people.
Yeah.
So not everybody likes what I do. So people can be very cruel.
Yeah.
So, but I just said,
How are you feeling now? Are you feel like you've overed it, or is it something you got to deal with the rest of your life?
Something I got to deal with the rest of my life.
My goodness.
I am stable, praise God. I am stable, but it is something I have to deal with, and I will be dealing with, and I am dealing with it.
Did you go into the hospital with COVID and all that?
I refused to go to the hospital.
Yeah, a lot of people. It was a scary time.
I had 6 or 7 really close friends.
Yeah, it was a scary time.
And they all went into the hospital, and they all went on ventilators, and I refused to go.
I think a lot of it was just so unknown. People didn't know what to do, it was a scary, scary time. I remember all that.
There's so much post-traumatic stress from COVID.
Yeah.
So many people lost so many loved ones.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you've ever had COVID, it's very scary.
Well, I've had it twice, and the second time was much worse than the first. And they've been several years ago now, but it forever changed the way I smell things. I get these times where it smells like I can almost smell like a burnt smell, almost like a cigarette smell. And I'm not around anyone that smokes at all. But I have that odd. It changed my sense of smell, and it's never went away. It's been different since then. So I don't know.
Well, the brain fog. Let me tell you, and I was just telling you earlier, I can be talking about something and totally I get off track. I don't even know what I was talking about.
I think it really affected people.
It really affected people, and the funny side of it, though, you got to always have something to laugh about with it, is that, my husband and my especially my grandchildren, they get so tickled
Greg.
they get so tickled at me because I'll say, Greg, you need to go put the clothes in the dishwasher. Or I'll say, I'll look out the window and I'll say, oh my gosh, Charlie, look at that horse. And it'll be a dog. I'll just buy different things. So, that's the fun part.
How is Greg doing? How long was
gosh.
Greg with the sheriff's office?
Let's see. 38 years.
38 years.
But he's still there now.
Is he still there?
Oh my God, Tommy Ford, keeps him there. Him and Sheriff McKeithen, Frank McKeithen.
What are they doing?
They are in charge of the range.
Really? The firing range, all that? Yeah.
They are the oldest. They're not going to appreciate me saying this, but they are the oldest firearms instructors in the state of Florida.
Let me tell you, I used to ride with Greg way back when Greg was on patrol. I would say, hey, let me ride with you tonight. And I would go, some nights it'd be so boring, I thought I was going to die because we're just driving around doing nothing. And then every once in a while, we have some action where we have a high-speed pursuit or something. I had a lot of fun. I love Greg.
I remember the night some guy pulled up beside you.
Yeah. Yeah. Pulled up. We're in an unmarked car, and this guy's like riding right on our bumper, and Greg keeps saying, I don't know, this guy's like trying to run me over or something. So finally, there's a break in the traffic. The guy pulls up beside us and says, I don't know where you got your license from, buddy. And Greg rolls it down the window and says, I got mine at the sheriff's office, and if you pull over right there, I'll find out where you got yours. Yeah, I mean, because we're in an unmarked car, so the guy just gets off. He just pulls beside us and says something smart to this police officer. It was terrible. It was terrible.
I never forget that.
Yeah, it was a different night. So when you look back on your career, what are you most proud of?
Well, I think, I've been so blessed and so honored to have a lot of different awards.
Yeah.
Sheriff McKeithen and I got one of the highest awards for crime fighters. But I think the one thing that I'm the most proud of is that I've stuck with it.
Yeah.
That I've stayed with it.
Yeah.
I think I told you this story the other day about, I didn't realize how long I've been
You've been doing it a long time.
doing this.
Yeah.
And, I went in a jewelry store, and the owners came out and said, "Oh, you're the Crime Stopper lady." Nobody knows me by Debra Peel. They just know me as the Crime Stopper lady. And I said, "Yes." And the guy said, "I just need to tell you something." He said, "My son, you visited his school when he was 10 years old, and you signed this autograph for him, and he had 2 posters in his bedroom."
Oh, my goodness.
Listen, he had Ronald Reagan and me.
And Debra Peel.
And he says, "And my son is now an attorney in Tallahassee."
Oh, that's fantastic.
Now, how many years is that going?
Yeah, that's fantastic. He's been to law school and everything.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't believe I've been doing it that long.
You influence people,
So
and
that's
it's a
the
good
impact.
influence.
So that
people.
made me feel proud.
Yeah.
That made me feel good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been fighting crime for a long, long time. That's a great thing. So, what do you do to relax? How do you take off the investigator hat and the Crime Stopper hat? What do you do?
Well, I try to read.
Yeah.
I try to read things
Now,
that
what do you
have
like to
nothing
read?
do. I read Dr. David Jeremiah and Joyce Myers.
Yeah.
Both
really good. Yeah,
both very good.
Yeah, really
and
good.
and I swear, when I picked the book up, there's something that affected me that day that I needed to hear.
You like some inspirational stuff. That's
love
good.
it.
I like that too.
I love inspirational stuff.
Something you shared with me, and I want to bring it up, is you're also a writer.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Well, I'm in the process of writing a couple of books.
Yeah.
One I'm really excited about is a children's book, and it's really unique in the fact that children are more connected to pets and animals than they are humans.
Yeah, I believe that.
They're more relaxed.
That's why on our logo for our child care is a dog.
Yeah,
Kids
okay.
love dogs.
They do. They love it.
They do. Yeah.
So I came up with this idea about having these canine crime fighters.
Yeah.
So these pets.
Oh, that's cool.
These pets will go to a pet.
So you brought your love of writing and crime together. That's great.
Yeah, and these are the animals. They fight crimes and take care of things, and they all inspire to be a canine dog. Yeah. And so I'm writing that.
When can I see something like this? When's this going to be where I can put it in my hand?
Well, maybe not too long. Not too long. Too long. So
So they're going to be illustrated books.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
great. They're going to be illustrated, and they're going to be a series.
Oh, so it can just keep going on.
Yeah, The Adventures of Rip and Chip.
That's fantastic.
And they're Paulson friends.
And they're Paulson friends.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So like you read like inspirational stuff. Mm-hmm. You're writing this with the children's book. You said a couple of books. What's the other one?
The other one is a little more intense.
Yeah.
The other one is behind closed doors.
Yeah. Some of the behind the scenes law
and
enforcement.
knowing what's behind them.
Yeah.
It's so funny that when I go in and tell people, they say, what do you do? And I said, I'm an investigator. Women love it. All the women they would love to be an investigator. They think it'd be the coolest thing ever. And I think, well, it's not like TV, trust me.
It's not like TV.
But it's a cool thing, and I like to do. But I have really tried to put. You mentioned the writing.
Yeah.
I've tried to do investigative stuff into it in that book,
Yeah.
and then the children's the crime fighting.
Yeah.
Because I believe we have to get to the children earlier than what we've been getting to them in the middle schools, and that's
I think so.
And so it's time to do it.
So if you had to pick out a person that was a big inspiration to you, who would that be?
My grandmother.
Yeah? Tell me about her.
Well, my grandmother was a school teacher, and she taught from the Blue Book, which was a little book about 5x7, and it taught from grade 1 to 12. And so she was a school teacher. She also was a seamstress. She made wedding gowns. But I was the first grandchild, which means I was
means you're spoiled. Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't say spoiled. I would just say special.
Special. Yeah, special.
So anyway, she was able to. She just inspired a lot into she. The first thing she taught me was the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah.
And I've tried to do that in everything I've ever done.
Yeah.
And it kind of works out. And but she was always there for me all through the steps of my life, and
That's
just
beautiful.
Good inspiration
That's beautiful. Where's like home? Is it Dothan? Is that where you said
Home
you're
to
from?
me is Panama City.
Panama City. Yeah.
I've been here so long that it
Yeah,
just
yeah. No
it's
other
just,
place.
It's just home, you know.
How do you think the storm changed our city? The hurricane. We just celebrated 7 years.
7 years.
7 years. It's been a rough 7 years.
It's been a horrific 7 years, but I can tell you, I can't hardly tell the landmarks anymore.
Yeah.
They're very
The
different.
landscape has changed.
It has changed greatly, but in some ways, it's helped Panama City.
Yeah.
It's cleaned up a lot of the area.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of
Blew it
it.
away, yeah.
I blew it away, but
It's been something. You
It
know,
has. It's been something.
We're on the final. We're in the 6-month window of our church being done. And if you'd have asked me 7 years ago, well, it's going to be 7 years before you get back in the church,
never thought that.
I would have said, no way. Give me a couple of years. Man, it was a couple of years before you could even get anyone to look at anything. I mean, it was a year of just cleaning up debris, so you could see what was left. It was a lot more than I had ever planned that we'd go through.
I know.
And I'm thankful we all survived it, but it was tough. It was tough. So if I had to ask Debra Peel 3 things on her bucket list of things that she hasn't done but she'd like to do, what would those be?
Well, I would love to play the piano.
Play the piano. That's cool.
I would love to learn to play the piano.
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, I don't
You
see,
could do it.
I don't see any time.
YouTube. When I learned the guitar when I was a kid, I learned with the Roy Clark guitar songbook. It had all these hokey songs, "You Are My Sunshine," whatever,
Yeah.
that you know how they go, you know the melody,
yeah.
and showed you where to put your fingers, and that's how I learned to play it. Now my daughter learns on YouTube. She hears a song she likes. Olivia's a great guitar player, and she hears a song she likes. She'll look it up on YouTube. You can get a live lesson on how to play it. You can get a chord chart. You can. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's so much easier to learn a musical instrument now than it was 20 years ago.
I'm sure.
So after you start playing the piano, what's the next thing you'd like to do? Where do you want to go? You travel anywhere?
No, I am an armchair traveler.
Really? You don't like traveling?
I don't like traveling.
Really?
I do not like to travel.
What's the furthest you've been?
I have passed up trips to Canada, to Hawaii.
Where's the furthest you've been? Washington?
Washington.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was honored there. And
What was that award that you won?
Jefferson Award.
The Jefferson Award.
Yeah.
And you went to Washington, D.C. to receive
Out of
that.
20,000 people.
That's
In the
fantastic.
nation, they chose 45, and I was one of them.
In Washington, D.C. That's good. So what else was on the bucket list besides playing the piano?
Finish writing the book.
Finish writing your book. That's a good goal.
And the other
That's a
bucket
good goal.
list is, well, probably since you've ever known me, I've always driven a Corvette.
Corvette. And you don't have one right now.
I've
do you?
had 9 of them.
You've had 9 Corvettes?
Every color there was. In fact, Greg, one time I had one, I bought it, and I bought a red one. I kept it 2 weeks. And he said, "Are you crazy?" And I said, "No, I don't like the color red. It's too flashy."
What?
Yeah, I'd rather be
Well,
classy
Corvette's
instead of
kinda
flashy.
flashy.
It's kind of flashy.
Yeah.
So I had the back surgery, and my doctor said, "Debra, the Corvette's got to go." I said, "Okay."
Really?
Yeah. So I got rid of my Corvette, and now I drive this nice big expedition.
But you missed the Corvette?
I will get another one.
You will. A red one?
No.
No,
white
just
one.
A white one. Okay. Well, I'm telling you, I think you have an exciting life, and I think your involvement with crime and helping us be safer is something that people should thank you for.
Well, thank you.
Because I'll tell you, years ago I had heard that you did it for free, and I was surprised because I knew how much work you did. For me being friends with Greg, I knew how much behind the scenes you did. But even then, back then, I didn't know that you did it for free and that you volunteer all your time to make us safer. I think that's something to be commended for, and I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Now, I really believe that you could do a very good podcast, and people are interested in that. Now, this is the only podcast we've heard out a little bit with the sheriff, but we don't usually talk about crime. You know, we talk about people and life and the journey of where we get to. But your journey has been about solving crime, and I really feel like a lot of people would like to hear a little bit more about it. So think about it. I think it'd be a good thing for you to grow into and do, because you have a lot of knowledge about all of it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, thank you for being with us. I
No,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
talking to
I've
me
enjoyed
today.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.